This is the Godox WEC-C1. Very strange name indeed, and my first impressions are, wait, what? Godox makes microphones. Since when? We're all used to Godox creating lighting systems for photography and the such, but not microphones. So my real question to this was, how good can the Godox microphone system really be? Well, I've tested it out quite extensively, so I can say without a shadow of a doubt, stay tuned because I'll let you guys know in a second. First of all, the microphone system actually comes in a box like this. It is a nice little casing for the actual power bank of the microphone system, as well as the microphones itself and a few accessories which I will be getting into a little bit later in this video. But first, let's actually get into the kit and kahunas of this whole system. You have the wireless receiver. As you can see, you have a 3.5mm jack on the one side. You have a USB Type-C port on the other side, and then a few buttons doing various things. And then, of course, you have the microphone itself, which I have to say I'm quite a fan of. I have not seen a lot of microphones that looks, well, like this one. There's the microphone itself at the top with the mesh, and then of course you have the clippy clips, as you do with the receiver as well, and then you have a few buttons that does a few different things as well. So let's actually get into it. I'm going to tell you exactly what all the buttons do. I'm going to tell you exactly how everything works, and then we're going to get into the testing and to see exactly how well it performs, especially in a tight-knit space like this that is kind of somewhat untreated. It is treated, but not extensively, right? So the receiver itself, it has a bunch of buttons on it. It has two buttons on this side. One is like an M and a minus, and the other one is like a linkage button and a plus, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, sir. And then on the other side, you have your power button right there. So the power button is obviously pretty straightforward. You hold it in for about 3 seconds and the thing comes on, or the thing powers down. And then on the other side, you have the linkage button, which if you hold this in, it goes into pairing mode and you compare different microphones like this with the receiver itself. And then on the bottom, it has the mode and minus, which if you hold this in, it switches from mono to stereo mode and vice versa. And then of course, if you press either one of those buttons just once, it adjusts the gain volume of the microphone system. Then the microphone itself has only two buttons. It has the power button at the bottom and then a orange button at the top. Now the orange button is both the linkage button to link it to the receiver, as well as the intelligent noise cancellation feature that comes with this microphone system. Yes, it's on the microphone itself, not the receiver. Then in this cool little case, you have two different 3.5mm cables, which one is actually quite peculiar, but I'll get into that just in a second. And then you have a USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, which is just a normal cable. And then you have two windscreens for the microphones that you get with the system, right? So let's get into the cables, because this is something that I struggled with a little bit when I just started using this microphone system. So this cable, it is just a black-to-black cable. This is what's called a TRRS cable. This is a both-way situation where you can just kind of plug it in and it works. Whereas this one is just a TRS cable. It has like a gray and a black point, right? This is only a one-way cable. It only works one way. So I used this cable in the beginning and I couldn't understand why my camera doesn't pick up the microphone. Well, apparently it was the wrong way around and it doesn't work like that. Whereas with this one, it does work and you should just be able to plug it in and use it with everything, right? I don't know why they even add a one-way cable. Doesn't make sense to me, but it is what it is, right? Now, let's get into the testing of the microphones while I'm talking about the specifications as well. All right, this is the sound of the Godox WEC-C1 microphone system, but there are a few things to note. First of all, this is in mono mode, which means it only has one channel that the audio goes through, not a left and a right channel. I think most people are going to use it like this, right? And then, of course, it does not have the noise cancellation feature on, and I'm holding it like a fist away from my mouth, so the sound should be pretty clear, even though I am in an untreated room. Now, this is what it's going to sound like if you just clip it onto your shirt without anything improved, without any noise cancellation, or even setting it to stereo mode. Now, apparently this records in 48 kilohertz 16-bit audio, so it should be pretty good, right? But that's just the thing. It isn't stopping there. It also has intelligent noise cancellation, which you can toggle by pressing the orange button on the microphone itself. And you will see if you press a button, the light on the microphone itself will turn to orange instead of green. And it should sound obviously like this. Now, this is how it's going to sound when I clip it onto my shirt. And here is the sound when it's just clipped onto your shirt with the intelligent noise cancellation feature turned on in a semi untreated room. Like I can hear the echo of the walls, so you be the judge and tell me how it sounds in the comment section down below. Now on the website, it does say that the Godox WEC-C1 has 24-day all-day recording, but there is a little bit of a caveat. It has 8 hours of recording time, but if you use the power bank and use that to charge and maybe swap between microphones, it can take that 8 hours and turn that into 24 hours of recording. So you do have some versatility when it comes to the microphone. Apparently this is now in stereo mode, so I'm using both microphones, and I don't know if this is gonna do, well, anything. It might just be coming through one ear, but you know, time will tell. Now, it does boast a 200 meters range of wireless connectivity, but I don't see how that's gonna work in real life. Like maybe if you're out in the desert or out somewhere else, it might work, but the thing is, there's always going to be interference. If you're walking behind like 5 cars, obviously that does interfere with the 2.4 gigahertz signal. And even though 2.4 gigahertz is pretty good and adept at going through walls and stuff like that, 200 meters is a really long range. I would say most people are not going to use the 200 meter range anyway, so anything above like 50 meters, you're so far away from the camera. I don't know or see how you will be able to use this unless you have an extremely crazy zoom on your camera and a very niche situation. This is with the intelligent noise cancellation on in stereo mode, and I'm going to clip it to my shirt right now to see exactly how that sounds. The WEC-C1 also has a 6 decibel adjustment layer or adjustable presets for the volume itself. I don't know exactly what this is on because it doesn't have an indication as to where that is. Like I can just press the button and I have to kind of like guess where it is on that range. Like it might be good or it might be bad. It might be plus 6 decibels or it might be 0. I wouldn't know. That there's just no way to actually know, which that does kind of bother me. And for those of you who are interested in the actual specifications of the microphone, I'll show it on screen right now so that you don't get bothered with unnecessary facts that you might not even be interested in. I don't think everybody's going to use it goes from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz situation. Most people just want a microphone that sounds good, works well, and can be used in real life. Now let's go over to a real life situation where I'm outside. I was recording something else for another channel, so you should be able to get like quite an indication as to how the sound would be in real life scenarios. I think I just had a hurrah moment. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I was thinking about the Arkan Empire and how they begin, you know, the origins and stuff like that. But the thing is...
I just found a cat. Hello. Seems like you're pregnant, aren't you?
Of course, that does sound pretty nice compared to what it should sound like inside, of course, but there are a few things that kind of bothers me about this whole system. First of all, the fact that it only uses the 3.5 millimeter jack. It feels kind of outdated, to be honest. Like it does work with most camera systems, obviously because of this fact, and most camera systems have the 3.5mm jack. But if you have, for example, a smartphone like an iPhone or something like that, you can't really use it because it doesn't have that capabilities. It only uses then the USB Type-C, and this wireless microphone system doesn't have USB Type-C connectivity, so that's kind of a bummer on that side. I haven't really seen any other ways around this, so unfortunately that is what it is, right? And then of course the fact that it doesn't have any form of display on either the receiver or even the microphone. I don't know where most of the settings are at the moment. Like I don't know usually how loud the microphone is, or the intelligent noise cancellation is on except for the fact that this light is orange and now of course it's green, so the intelligent noise cancellation is off. But apart from that, there's no indication as to anything else. You have to kind of rely on your knowledge about what the different flashes of lights mean and what it means if it flashes red every like 0.5 seconds, which means it's flat or below 10% battery life, by the way, or anything like that. You kind of have to like search for the answers instead of having it just displayed to you. A display is not that costly. I mean, Godox, you could have just added that, but maybe, maybe you put the money in the microphone itself. It does sound pretty good. I can't deny that. In any case, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is production on a budget, your go-to place when you want to know exactly what works, what doesn't work in the budget production studios. And as always, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, everybody.